I don't normally preach on the Old Testament, and I don't normally do word studies in sermons. But as I was looking at the reading from Genesis, I noticed that there's a couple things in the Hebrew that we don't get at all in English. And Hebrew is a beautiful, poetic language, and there's so many word plays in the Old Testament that just goes right over our head because we don't speak Hebrew, we don't hear it in Hebrew. And in this morning's Old Testament lesson, we have the story of Sarah seeing Ishmael playing with her son Isaac, and she becomes jealous and wants Ishmael and Hagar to go away. And I don't want them here. Send them away, Abraham. I don't want them in my house anymore. They need to go. It seems like an extreme response, especially knowing what we know, that it was Sarah's idea in the first place that Abraham be with Hagar. And it was her idea that Ishmael came about. And it seems like it's just really extreme response to seeing these two kids playing together and being like, oh no, I'm done. But what the Hebrew says is not that they were playing, but that Ishmael was laughing. And laughing in Hebrew is Isaac. So Ishmael was Isaacing. And so Sarah sees Ishmael Isaacing, and it's not that she's jealous, but she sees this boy, and in her head, he's trying to take the place of her son. And that's why she sends him away. That's why she wants him to go. Understandably, Abraham is in a bit of a difficult spot because Ishmael is his son, and he cares for Ishmael. And Sarah's put him in a difficult position. He doesn't know what to do, and fortunately, God bails him out because God knows that life is easier when you just do whatever your wife tells you to do. So, Sarah told you to do this, just go ahead and do it. Your life will be a lot easier. Don't worry about it. I got you covered. So the first thing that the Hebrew gives us is that it's not just Sarah being really petty, but she saw that her son's place in being the birth of a great nation was threatened. So we can have a bit more compassion for Sarah in what was going on. And so then Hagar and Ishmael are out in the wilderness, and their water is gone. They don't see any water around. Hagar decides she's going to put Ishmael under a bush, and she's going to run away and hide somewhere because she just can't watch her son die. And they both start crying out. And then an angel of the Lord comes and says, God has heard the voice of the boy. Do not be afraid. And the Hebrew for God has heard is Ishma Elohim, or Ishmael. So at the beginning of this lesson, Ishmael was Isaacing with Isaac. And now God is Ishmaeling Ishmael. So God heard the voice of this boy crying out. And it's such a beautiful poetry of what this means. And not only because it's just beautiful linguistically, but the message it gives us today is so vitally important. As many of you know that God made the promise to Ishmael that Ishmael would also be made a great nation. And today, they're known as the Nation of Islam. So our Muslim brothers and sisters are descendants of Ishmael. And God heard their voice. We too should hear their voice. When our Muslim brothers and sisters are crying out in pain, anguish, sorrow, need, God hears their cry, and so should we. But it's not just that. God hears the cry of all who call out. So not just our Muslim brothers and sisters, but our Jewish brothers and sisters, if they're crying out, we should hear their cry. If our atheist brothers and sisters are crying out, we should hear their cry. If our Buddhist or Hindu or agnostic or whoever is crying out in pain, need, sorrow, we should hear their cry and respond the only way we can respond if we're following Christ, with compassion, love, mercy, kindness. It's not easy. It's not an easy road. And no one's ever going to say and be completely honest with you that following Jesus is easy. He even said it in the gospel lesson this morning. Those who find their life will lose it, but if you lose your life for my sake, that's when you find it. The message for us today is that we should lose our life for Christ and find that new life that is intended for us. And that is a life that has open ears, that is listening all the time for anyone who may be crying out, so that we can respond, so that we can extend the light of Christ to them and let them know they are loved beyond measure, that there is something greater in store for them. We may not be able to see it yet, but God has something great in store for them. So I hope and I pray that you open your ears today and always, that you listen for any voice that may be crying out. And whenever you hear a cry of pain or sorrow or anguish or need, you do whatever is in your power to be with them, to love them, to have compassion and mercy. Let's all lose our life so that we can find the life that God has in store for us, and open our ears to all who are in need. Amen.
Hey guys, most of you probably don't know this, but I run a Twitter account called OMG That's Punny. And today I want to list for you guys the top 10 puns that have ever been posted on that account. Number 10, these loafers will keep you nice and toasty. Number 9, June's over? Julian. Number 8, well, what do we have here? Number 7, I'm sorry, but I just foiled your plan. Number 6, I put my grandma on speed dial. I call that Instagram. Yeah, Grandma, can you bake me cookies? Number 5, Kim Pasta Bowl. Number 4, don't worry, Mayans, if your prediction's wrong, it's not the end of the world. Number 3, why is Peter Pan always flying? He never lands. Oh, I love that joke. It never grows old. Number 2, I have the necessary qualifications. Your qualifications are completely irrelevant. Don't listen to him. He's lying. This arguing is becoming unbearable. Indeed, it's making my voice hoarse. Hoarse, please. When do you ever say something smart? Don't worry. I will wait. Ouch. Awkward. I'm out of here. Y'all are giraffing me crazy. You can tell I'm not a voice person, I'm sorry. And finally, the most popular tweet that has ever been posted on the Twitter account, OMG That's Punny. Why do teenage girls always hang out in odd numbers? Because they can't even.